He said, oh, yes. He said, that man committed blasphemy from the cross when he shouted, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? And I said, Rabbi, maybe he said it in a crying voice. Maybe he said it in a pleading voice, in a lamenting voice. And the rabbi said, no. He committed blasphemy when he shouted, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? And what the rabbi had forgotten in his anxiousness to get the meeting to close was that those very same words were first said by our beloved King David in Psalm 22 in our Hebrew Scriptures. And what Jew would dare say that our beloved King David committed blasphemy? So I went home that evening and I said to my husband and to my daughter, I have no more doubts. Yeshua HaMashiach is the Jewish Messiah. He's my Jewish Messiah. And that's how I came to believe in Yeshua.
So what about your daughter in the Hebrew Academy? Did she believe in Yeshua too?
Well, both my husband and my daughter understood all the studying that I was doing. And of course, we were in a public area, and everyone heard me talk, and so Elisa did have to leave the Hebrew Academy, and she had to go to public school. But it was interesting that during my studies, of course, I did share what I was studying and researching with Ron and Elisa, and one time I was absolutely shocked because I had read where Moses lifted up the bronze serpent in the wilderness. And as long as the Israelites looked on the serpent that was up on a pole, which actually was a standard, which is shaped actually like a cross. It was the pole and then the beam going across, and then it would be the standard that was held on there. Well, they had the bronze serpent. And to me, it just didn't seem right. It sounded Christian. It didn't sound Jewish. And so Elisa came home from school. I said, Elisa, you're not going to believe what I read in the Bible. And I read it to her, and she says, you know, Mommy, we studied that in school today, and we acted it out in a play. And I felt, oh, my goodness, God knows exactly what I'm doing. He provided this school play for Elisa so that she could reassure me that, yes, this is something that Jewish people need to know about.
So her entire family became believers in the Messiah, but I don't know if you caught that, because we Jewish people were murmuring again and again in the wilderness, and Moses holds up something which appears almost like a cross, has a serpent on it. He says, if you will look at this as a substitute, you will be healed. And when Yeshua hung on the tree, every sin that you committed and that I committed and that Sharon committed and that her daughter and her husband committed was on that tree. And according to Isaiah 53, written 800 years before Jesus came, by his stripes, by Moshiach's stripes, we were healed. And as the Israelites looked at that serpent representing sin on that tree that looked like a cross, they were healed. And if you ask the God of, just like Sharon did, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, show me the truth about Yeshua, he'll work in a way that you need. Because just as Sharon had the thought, I'm going to study the Scriptures, I'm going to think for myself, you're watching this television show because God wants you to think for yourself. It's too important to have intimacy with God, to walk with God, to talk with God, to have no fear of death, no fear of life. It's the most wonderful. There is not a close second. Listen, it's the Megillah. It's the truth. Trust me.
Now you can read Sharon Allen's entire story in this book by Sid Roth, They Thought for Themselves. It's yours when you call with your donation of any size.
I'm Rose Price. I'm Jewish, and I am a Holocaust survivor. I was in 6 camps, and the guards in the camp would beat us and tell us they are beating us because we killed Christ. Many years later, my daughter came home and she announced that Jesus is the Jewish Messiah. Well, you could imagine how that hurt me. So how come today I follow Yeshua as my Messiah?
Rose's story and the story of others like her can be found in this thought-provoking book by Sid Roth.
Read They Thought for Themselves to supernaturally increase your faith to believe God for the yours for a donation of any size. Ask for order number 1031. Or you can write to Sid Roth. It's Supernatural. Post Office Box 1918, Brunswick, Georgia 31521. Please specify order number 1031. Or log on to sidroth.org.
If you're encouraged and helped by these television programs, please consider assisting us with future productions. Send your tax-deductible gift to Sid Roth, Post Office Box 1918, Brunswick, Georgia 31521. Call toll-free at 1-800-548-1918 or visit our website at sidroth.org.